Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favourites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days with the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
This program is brought to you by Qatar Airways and Lay's, UEFA Champions League official partners.
So the Champions League final, May 30th, the city Budapest, and the teams have been confirmed. It's Arsenal and PSG. After Arsenal advanced yesterday, PSG, they're back in the final after eliminating Bayern Munich 6-5 tonight on aggregate. It was Ousmane Dembele scoring in his third consecutive Champions League match in just the third minute. Put really the tie to bed. Harry Kane did level things on the night, but not enough in the end. For the Bavarians, they are out of the Champions League. Welcome along, everybody, to the Champions Club presented by Heineken. So nice to have you with us. We're also live on YouTube, so come on in, join us in the comments, send in any questions and join the chat. I'm Poppy Miller, alongside Nigel Reo-Coker, Mike Greller and Troy Deeney. Grell, how are you feeling after this semi-final? Did it live up to the big expectations you set yesterday?
Not quite. Not quite. I don't think so. The performance of Bayern Munich especially was up to par. You thought that Bayern Munich at home would give you something really special. And then it was Luis Enrique who I think outmanaged Kompany in the end, made the game tough for Bayern Munich, closed the spaces, played a little bit lower, played more pragmatic. And so we got an old school game. We got a game of two very talented teams. One that performed under and the other one that said, okay, we're going to play this way. We don't need to go for it. We're up 2 goals. Let's just get ourselves to the final. So we saw a little bit more of a reserved football game. For the neutral, sorry that I promised you an excellent game. It was not an excellent game for the neutral.
It was just a good game.
But for those who love football, it was still a very nice game.
Yeah, it was. And PSG, back-to-back years, Nige, for them through to the final. They're the reigning champions. I mean, what a night for them in Germany tonight.
Fantastic. You've got to give them credit for what they've done and what they've achieved. And again, they haven't been a team that's been convincing. Are you okay?
Sorry.
Would you like some water?
Yes, I would, actually. That would be great.
Well, sorry. Thank you for interrupting me, but it's okay. No, PSG, fantastic. It's been a long project for them. They won their first Champions League last season. This season, you'd have to say, it's been very similar as well, where there's a period where people writ them off and they had a lot of injuries that they had to deal with, but they got over it. But we kind of had a discussion yesterday about how the game will play out today. And it was kind of like that, like Grella says. Luis Enrique made some slight tweaks, didn't have to go at Bayern Munich as they did in the first leg. Bayern Munich tried to go at PSG, but a lot of players didn't have a great game. But for PSG as a whole, I think it's a fantastic achievement to make another Champions League final now with the project that they're trying to build. And this is the competition they wanted to win. They wanted to put PSG on another level to be set alongside the likes of a Real Madrid, a Milan. You talk about the history of this competition, and now to have back-to-back finals and to potentially maybe win back-to-back Champions League. Well done to PSG. Got to give them credit.
Yeah. So true. Troy, should we have a look at the history in the competition? Where does this put them now in world football? Just the fact that they've made it to the final in back-to-back years, does it cement them as, you know, what we expected from a few seasons ago when the build-up was there, but they hadn't quite got over the line?
Yeah, it's part of this new phase that they're trying to do, right, in terms of create a new legacy. Obviously, they went first with big-name players, obviously Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, and then they went down the route of let's get the best coach and create the best team. And what I said it last year when they won, I thought football goes in waves, and I think this is a new wave of team. So it's a full team. Wingers are exceptional, really excited to watch. Fullbacks are the same, but they dominate in midfield now, but not dominate in a different way to Arsenal. Arsenal dominate when they don't have the ball and they're going to run all over. These guys dominate with that, but they also keep the ball and they rotate, and it's not just one who's at the base. They rotate and come out, and the way that they play is fantastic. I think if they win this now back to back, I think we start looking at this is like a bit of a generational team. Does this end up winning 5 of the next 10? That type of stuff, because they're all young. No one's talking about how young this team is as well. There's still room to grow. If they were to lose a Dembele or somebody like that, it's okay. They've got somebody else ready to come in. They've done this game without arguably the best right back in world football, and they're still getting through. So there's no excuses. When you look as well from the back end of last season, played the most amount of games, got to Club World Cup final, obviously lose to Chelsea. They've had the most injuries since then as well, and they're still at this point. They're still winning the league. They're still in the finals of the Champions League. So it just shows how great of a squad they are and what they're up to. But I also agree with Grella. I thought Luis Enrique was spot on today. It mirrored the game against Liverpool at Anfield. It was like, OK, we don't need to, but we scored one. OK, tweaking game.
Do you agree with the best shouts for best manager in the world for Luis Enrique?
How do you argue against it? Is kind of the thing. How do you make an argument against it? I don't believe anyone is as good as him, but in-game tactical knowledge and tweaking, because they started the game, the first 20 minutes was the same as the first leg. Bayern were attacking, PSG were attacking, they get the goal, they decide, whoa, OK, stop now, we're going to do it this way. And then the 54 minutes, I was saying to Nigel when I was watching it, look how they've changed again, because now they realised Bayern were getting too comfortable, they went and repressed again. Yeah. So it's like that in-game tactical knowledge, I think he separates himself from everybody else. How many coaches and managers do we see now, before I let you guys go, is the same method? It's plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, they do plan A again.
Yeah, there's a fork in the road you're going to hit as a manager, right? Amorim learned this at Man United. Hansi Flick learned this not long ago. You're going to come to a fork in the road at some point in the big moments. Do we still play our way, our identity, what we want to, like what PSG is known for? Or do we want to win the football match? Right. And Luis Enrique is the best in the world. I hope these managers at home, and some of the managers maybe just starting out, and some of the best in the world are watching Luis Enrique to see how he changed. He went away from what PSG do. It looked like a 4-5-1 most of the time. Sometimes they had a 7 and a 3 across the back line. You know why? Because he wanted to get to the final. And as much as we love attacking football and the 5-4 from the game before, and as much as we love modern football, everyone on social, oh, thank you for the 5-4. As much as we love that, and we do, and it's good for it to bring fans into the game, football will always go back to, if you're winning 1-0, 2-0, you have to cover yourself first. You have to Protect first, and then you play from there. There is no football where Luis Enrique with PSG, with the high attacking options that they have, that they were going to go attack in that game. They said, no, we have 2-goal cushion. You come to us. And Bayern had a difficult time making the game and breaking down, making the game in no space because they left them no space.
It's so true. Did Bayern have a bad game, or were PSG just that good that they made Bayern look bad tonight?
PSG, for me, I would say, were that good. They played well. It's a Champions League 2 legs. You're away from home. You've already got the lead, and you've got to be tactically right. There's more than one way to win a football match, but in the grand scheme of things, from being in the dressing room and how games we've had in Europe where it's home and away leg, you have to win games like that, and they did it the right way. They were defensively strong. They competed. They took their chances, and let's be real, they still played at times. Because I know what Grella said, and I understand what Grella said, but I don't want to make it seem like they just parked the bus and let Bayern come at them, because there were times when they broke at times, and again, they were missing that last bit of quality in the final third. But from an all-round perspective, when you look at the game, PSG played well. And there's elements that we probably get onto a little bit later to break down. When you talk about the tactical elements, you bring about the rotation. If people notice today, what used to happen was Marquinhos, who's your centre-back, was kind of playing in right-back position. Every time Luis Diaz got the ball, 9 out of 10 times, it was Marquinhos that was engaging with him. And what would happen is Vitinha or João Neves would drop into that centre-back position. That's all part of the coaching and the tactical element, because Ziyech Emery came in for, like you said, Hakimi is the best right-back in the world, so you bring in a youngster to play in right-back. But because you didn't want him to engage so much with Luis Diaz, you put more of a senior player there. You rotate by bringing a midfielder to fill in that centre-back position. That is all part of the tactical element that if you're really studying the game and watching the game, that is a big part of the grander scheme of things of what we saw, and they got the result over the line. Yeah, because I don't think anyone can walk away from that game, Troy, and say Bayern Munich were the better team tonight, right?
No. Well, could they? I thought they were. I don't know, could they? I think they flattered. They had more the ball. But they flattered to deceive in the final third. I think big games, we've spoken fantastically about that front three. I thought the front three tonight, even though Harry ended up scoring, were pretty poor throughout. I thought Olise gave the ball away a lot. But it's a big moment. It's a big pressurised game. And I think it's unfair for us to want the same type of game that we saw last week. And obviously when you think to Arsenal now, you can't think the way that they did it. They handled that game and we gave them credit for it yesterday, but PSG handled the moment better than Bayern did, unfortunately. And I just think it's just one of those things. Something
Bayern got robbed. I mean, they did have so many chances. In some ways, it did feel like no matter how many chances they had, the ball wasn't going to go in for a large portion of that match. You say that, but in all seriousness, how good was the Bayern keeper? Neuer made 4 or 5 good saves. So,
exactly.
You can't.
He was incredible. He took 2 or 3 goals away.
Yeah, so it's PSG. I think it was still an exciting game, but I think PSG, it just felt when you was watching more of a feeling. Obviously, the guys could talk to the tactics, but the feeling was more they had them at arm's length. Like you're just going to stay there. 100%. You're just going to stay there. And Bayern kept doing what they do, which is playing. I thought Davies, when he come in, added a complete different spark. Maybe the argument is he could have come in a little bit earlier, or maybe even started. But all in all, I just think PSG just had that little bit more nous, that little bit more game management, and just managed the occasion just a lot better.
They were prepared better for the game. And this is back to the conversation of Luis Enrique and what he brings. If you're a manager, and you would know best because you were a manager, you want to prepare your team for what the game is going to look like. And Vincent Kompany says before the game, just embrace the chaos. It's going to be chaotic. He got the game wrong, 100%, because the game was not chaotic at all. The game was simple. And Luis Enrique said, we're going to do the same things. But he didn't do the same thing. He changed.
Kompany planned for the game last week.
Correct.
Not for this game. Yeah.
And so he prepared his at home, all the excitement, all the tension. We thought it was going to be a great game. They thought the game was going to be end-to-end and back and forth, and they conceded the first goal because of that, because the center-backs are going all over the place. By the way, Bayern have 3 center-backs. If you put them all together, they don't make 1 center-back. There's another problem, and we'll talk about that later. But center-backs going all over the place, right, because he's preparing for, let's go, we're going to go for it. Kvaratskhelia goes, boop, boop, little spin. That's something you learn when you're a kid. When you're 8 years old, you learn that. They go score, and now all of a sudden the game is not chaotic at all.
Yeah.
And Kompany failed to make the changes. Also, the players were not sharp. Olise, I thought, was unrecognizable in the game tonight.
Why was that, do you think? Do you think he just had an off night, or do you think the pressure of the moment got to him?
All of those things?
All of it, yeah. I think for me, he had an off night, and I think that it's difficult to just say pick one player. Like Olise, because we've got such high expectations of what they sent, but the whole front three, they did not play well. They had a lot of possession, flat to deceive. There was no bite at the end of it when you look at this game today. Like you said, tactically, PSG were better. But for me, Bayern Munich just looked like, watching that game, I couldn't see them scoring a goal. It just looked like there was too many players off it. Apart from Neuer, who, like you said, kept them in the game, a lot of the players in this Bayern Munich side didn't really do anything. They didn't affect the game. And again, it's credit to how PSG nullified the threat. We talk about how they pressed, how they stopped Luis Diaz having a field day. They had 1 or 2 moments early in the game. Luis Diaz, Olise. But after that, the way that the organisation of that PSG team, it just nullified the entire team. If there's only one field player in the pitch that you give credit to, apart from the goalkeeper for Bayern, is maybe Kimmich. Kimmich just does his usual job in that midfield role, keeping the ball ticking over. But again, it wasn't enough to affect the game to really make Bayern look like a threat.
Also, as well, just want to give a little bit of credit to Nuno Mendes as well. Like arguably the best left back in world football. But Olise had a bad night because he was better than he was the first time. First time he tried to match him stride for stride, pace for pace, and got found out a little bit. Today he picked his moments, when to back off, when to go tight. I thought he had a great game, and you know,
especially after getting booked early on in the game as well.
There's a moment in the game where you have to say, okay, he was kind of a little bit smarter. He was ready. He raised his level to another part, which made it even more difficult for Olise.
But you know, it's quite funny, Paul, because obviously we had this conversation as well in the last show that we did about looking ahead of this game, and we say about moments, and you've got to read ahead the moment, and he'll know this more than us because he's been a manager. I said, looking at that game, it was great what we experienced last week. But it was impossible to think we're going to get the same next week because, again, you take away...
No, Grella thought we were going to.
I mean, it's Grella, isn't he? You're
just trying to get the people in, business 101.
But this is the beauty of football, and this is the experience that we've had. You're going away from home as PSG. You know the fans are going to be up for it. Vincent Kompany said, you want to embrace the chaos. Yeah, it's fine. You've got to play with your emotions. Because if you get too overstimulated, too much adrenaline pumping, we've seen it before in big games when you go in, players going for a crazy tackle, next thing you know, red card, first 10 minutes, you change the whole dynamic and you kill your teammates. So I always knew PSG were going to go into a different mindset saying we're away from home, we're going to be more tactical, they have to come at us, let them go for this chaos, the misplaced passes, too much aggression, kicking the ball off the pitch, can't get a rhythm into it because they're too
Does any of that have
up.
to do, by the way, with them already winning the Bundesliga title and having no real meaningful games in the last couple? Because PSG is still not obviously confirmed.
No, I don't think so. A team like Bayern Munich, this is one of their priorities. This is one of the remits of being a manager of Bayern Munich. They want to get to a final of the Champions League. They're a club that is used to winning the Champions League and historically known around the world because of that. That is something that's part of the blueprint of your contract.
For me, the question has always been about Kompany. Oh, can he do it in the big moments? And Bayern and Harry Kane and all those guys. And we're like, oh, can Bayern actually do it? Can they do it in the big moments? Bundesliga, with all due respect to it, they should win it, and they do win it. No question about it. But they want to know on the Champions League nights if they're good enough, if they're better. That's what the club demands. I think we got the answers tonight. Not because they lost, because anybody could lose to PSG. Most teams are going to lose to PSG. But the performance. The performance was not there. Tactically, energy, sharpness-wise. When you think of Bayern, you think of those passes. I said it in the last show that we covered last week. Those passes are boom, 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 boom. So precise. You know, the difference between this much and this much, the pass to the right foot, left foot, outside of the foot, the pace of the pass. The guys couldn't control the football. Olise couldn't control the football tonight. Harry Kane, every pass was like bouncing into guys. He couldn't hold the ball. Diaz was the best of them, but still not great. Musiala shooting like a little kid inside the goal with the wrong technique and the wrong moment. So to break that low block down, you have to be perfect. And Bayern, most games, they're very precise. But in the biggest of nights, at home,
they couldn't get a rhythm. They couldn't get a rhythm.
Play.
And if you watch that game, in the first 2 or 3 minutes, there was misplaced passes. And from that, it just became a snowball effect to the rest of the team. And every player started misplacing passes. And again, that goes to the whole thing of enjoy the occasion, but stay in it. Don't let the occasion get better of you. And that's all about the messaging that you have to give to your players. And again, Luis Enrique, more experience, got experience from last year winning the Champions League. He can give that. Vincent Kompany, great. Big moment for him. Talk about coming from Burnley, question marks about him. And look what he's done now domestically. Now this is the big test.
I don't think we can question Vincent.
No, I don't think.
I know you're not. There's an element of.
But he got out-coached tonight.
Yes, but also because PSG have been together as a group longer. The coach has been in these situations more. So it's just an experience thing. He can't gain experience overnight. He has to keep doing what he's doing, which is obviously winning the league and get into these moments more often. You know, you could say the same thing with Arteta at Arsenal. You know, they've been so close over time that this season they know how to get to those moments because they've experienced it. Yeah. I think when you look to Luis Enrique, the way he's experienced and the way he understands each moment now, it's like I said, this game to him was like, okay, just get the job done. And, you know, he just didn't feel that way for Vincent Kompany because maybe he was a little bit emotional. Maybe he was like, we need chaos because I don't know how good these are. These are things that happen with experience. So I just think, you know, it's fair to question it in the moment right now, but overall bigger picture, it'd be a good season for Bayern Munich. They've got this far.
Yeah.
They'll be frustrated, but it'd be like, if we get to this moment again next year, we could do it again. The team will be together.
Also, Olise had Papi's boots on maybe this game. Maybe next year he would use his own boots and he'd be okay.
I thought he had Jaws.
Yeah, Papi's boots, they're a little crooked.
Wrong one on the other foot. Okay, stay with us after the break, everybody. We'll talk about player ratings. Can't wait to see what you're going to give Olise after that. So it's PSG, it's Arsenal in this season's Champions League final in Budapest. We're going to have plenty more for you on the Champions Club in just a second. Stay with us.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back, everybody. So PSG, the first French club to qualify for 3 Champions League finals. They're also the first French side to go to back-to-back finals. 44 goals they've scored this season. That is only one fewer than Barcelona did back in 1999. Here's a look at the SofaScore ratings for PSG's starting 11 today against Bayern. Kvara had an 8. I think you can all agree with that. Anything that jumps out to you, Troy? What was the shock?
I'm waiting for Nigel to...
Vitinha. I need my glasses on. This is what?
6.4.
That nonsense. Absolutely bloody nonsense. You do not know nothing about football.
Nah, but he was getting skinned. Emery was getting skinned.
Who?
Emery, 6.1.
Nonsense. You just win second leg in the Champions League final, second leg of the Champions League to get into a final against Bayern Munich, probably one of the best sides in world football right now, and you're giving those ratings nothing about football. Because you didn't understand the tactical element.
So
Vitinha, for me, was one of their best players on the pitch today. Vitinha was as influential for PSG today as Declan Rice was for Arsenal yesterday. That is when the numbers make them the mess of football.
I don't disagree too much. Vitinha maybe, but the rest I think are very close. Kvaratskhelia probably could have given more too because he was unbelievable. Emery, I thought, out of position. He struggled a little bit against Diaz. Diaz, the best of the front four of Bayern Munich.
Marquinhos was solid, though.
Marquinhos was solid.
Pacho was better, though.
Yeah, but Marquinhos was the one who stopped. We talked about Luis Diaz in their front three. He nullified Luis Diaz today. If you say who won that battle, Marquinhos won that battle today against Luis Diaz.
Well, this is interesting, these numbers, because they take into account everything, all of the stats and all of the mathematical numbers, completely separate to the eye test.
Of course. And that's why, was it SofaScore that gave us this? Thank you very much for it. We appreciate you, obviously. I've got your back, don't worry today. But I do think it is interesting when you're watching a game because there's those metrics will be like tackles, won, lost, out of position. But when you're watching the game and the feel of it, I'd actually say the three that are the lowest were probably the most influential at the biggest moments. So I think Emery, while I agree at the start of the game, he got turned inside out. As the game developed, he was bigger, he was better, he had more
pressing height.
And then obviously coming inside to pitch when they had the ball. I thought Vitinha is always going to be excellent. I thought Ruiz, who came in, added a massive calming presence in there as well. Yes, he wasn't ratting around the place, but every time he got the ball, he looked after it, kept them moving. So it's always interesting. I always think a stat is a basis of an argument, not the whole argument. And these were good.
Do you all agree?
You like that one, didn't you?
Yes, that was very good from you.
She's going to steal that. Don't worry about that. She's going to steal that.
If I can remember, it was a bit long. That was the only thing.
Yeah, no worries.
Kvara, though, you can all agree he was the best player on the pitch tonight. Would you say for PSG, man of the match for them?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. For what you want from him and what you want to see him do, phenomenal. Like, we've had this conversation before, and there's a difference between a dribbler and a regular attacking or front three player. Kvara is special. Like, let everyone know now, watching him play, if you get the opportunity to watch him play, he is special. Enjoy it, because players like him do not come around often.
Who would you put him up there with if you were comparing him to somebody else's dribbling of one of the greats? Who would be there? He
style to player that I played against, I'll probably say for me, is Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs is the most like him. And before Ryan Giggs, for back in the day, you'd have to say Kanchelskis. Back in the day at Man United, well, that's how far back you go. Those are dribblers. And when I say that they're dribblers, for people to understand, these are close control, can manipulate the ball however they want. They're quick, moving at pace, and also they can drop the shoulder to move defenders and make them miss tackles. Like, it's not knock it and I'm chasing after it. It's this ball is stuck to me like glue. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, the viewers agree as well. You all say Kvara 69%, Dembele as well, 18% just behind them. And then
18% of people didn't watch the game.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
Let's have a look at Bayern's ratings.
That's what Poppy voted, 100%.
How many strays can I catch in the first 20 minutes? Neuer, 8.9.
See?
He was the best rated on the pitch. I mean, that's because of how many saves. But what about Upamecano? 6.8, by the way, of the back line. Stanisic as well had that. And then Tar and Lima in the sixes, the low sixes.
This is really interesting, right? So if Harry Kane doesn't score in
what would his
number would have been? Because I think when you look at it, everything that we've alluded to is kind of shown in those numbers. Would you say so, Grell, in that?
I totally agree. I think he would have been with Musiala and Olise with lower score for sure. He didn't affect the game.
I wonder if SofaScore can let us know what that would be before the goal.
Before and after.
Yeah.
Kimmich is the one that makes sense to me. Kimmich, I said about Kimmich, this typical performance from Kimmich, what you're going to get 8, 9 out of 10 performance from him every week, no matter what. Troy's right about his point. Harry Kane, if he doesn't score, what would his rating be? Because he was very non-effective in the game. Elise didn't play to his standard, and Luis Diaz was nullified. Had a few moments.
Diaz was the best of the three, as Guella said. That's why his rating's a little bit higher. Neuer's 8.9, so he effectively, in their opinion, was the best player on the pitch.
Which he's been man of the match a few times.
I wouldn't disagree with that. 3 or 4 big saves that kept them in the game. But yeah, this one is very similar to what we've said. I just find it interesting to show the viewers how one big metric, i.e. a goal, can
change everything.
Whole ratings on these systems.
By the way, what about this for a stat? Neuer conceded 6 goals before he made his first save across both legs against PSG, which just puts into perspective how good PSG were attacking. Olise, not so much in the first leg. He was sensational. Grell, this is the comparison that you wanted to see between the first leg and the second leg. And these numbers do kind of explain the story.
The 2 middle ones are the ones. Look.
Can you wrap your head around it?
So for Grell, on the left-hand side...
We need glasses for Grella.
Grella can't see, so...
can't see.
Eight successful dribbles out of 10 in the first game. In the second game, Grell 3 of 9. Jules won 11 of 21, and then 7 of 18 in the second one.
For me, yeah, okay, these are the obvious ones because this is what he's on the pitch to do, right? He's on the pitch to win duels and have successful dribbles and affect the game. But for me, if you're not having your best game, you have to be able to connect passes and you have to take care of the football and you have to understand risk reward. And so these stats are great, but for me it's the stat of, hey, you're not having the best game, keep it a couple times, you know? And he just missed too many. He turned the ball over so many times. I think he had 75% passing percentage, which was like second lowest out of all 22 players. And I understand the attacking players have less because they take more risks with the football, but he just so many. I don't mind you dribble and you lose the ball, you're trying things and you lose the ball, but when you're turning over simple 5-yard passes, simple connections, simple controls, that to me is the frustration. That means like, oh, the game is too big, you know, and I think he didn't have his best day.
If I recall, I think he was the first player to give the ball away as well at the start of the game when he tried to make a pass, he gave it a dribble. And then that's what I say about football's infectious and it starts to have a snowball effect on the rest of your teammates in a big game. Now, listen, footballers can do what they want. But you don't help yourself with when you wear that to go to a game as well.
Look at that
behind us.
Olise missed every. That's what I felt. Like, put the stats aside. I feel like he gave away every. I was actually shocked that I saw 77% passing. I can't remember which ones he connected.
Well, did you feel like touches didn't go his way either? Like there was some that he gave away, but then on another day we've seen him be a lot better, and he didn't really have many.
Also, this is the life of a superstar that's in those forward areas, because he can have bad games like this over the course of the season, but score 2 and everyone goes, oh, he's fantastic today because he scored 2 goals. So in these moments when you don't score, it becomes highlighted. I'm actually of the different opinion. I don't care that he comes dressed like that, Nudge.
Because this is how he came, by the way.
This is how he came and how he left.
But it doesn't matter though, because that's who he is. That's his personality. I think we always do it in the lesser moments. We go, like, we point to that. But when he's been fantastic for the majority of the season, wearing all different outfits and doing different things, no one ever really brings it up because he's scoring.
Why did you not like?
No one does. No, I mean, listen, for me, it's fine. Like, you could do that, but you got to turn up.
Yeah.
That's my thing. I don't mind what you do. You got to turn up, because when you don't turn up, this will become a conversation out to people to say, why are you going like that for a semi-final, a Champions League? No problem. Be yourself. Be who you are. Be true to yourself. But what's going to be judged? What you do on that football pitch. And you've got to turn up. And I'm a big fan of Olise. And he didn't turn up today. So now people will probably be looking at that more now. And that will become a thing of, why are you dressing like that, going like that into the stadium? Some people might not like it, but that's what's going to happen.
Can I ask you a question? I'm going to toe the line here. I'm a little nervous, actually, about it. But besides, obviously, obvious religious affiliations, they require different sort of, different things that you wear or that you do or that you, which is totally understandable. But just speaking just on Olise and what he's wearing here, would you let your son go to school like that?
Absolutely no.
No,
would you let your daughter just throw that on? You going out to dinner? Would you have her throw that on to go out to dinner? I think also as a footballer, you have to understand whether you like it or not. You're an example for kids, and football aside, that's the only issue I have with that. Listen, you like to wear it, that's no problem. I don't care. I don't care what you wear, but I just think always keep in mind that you're always an example for the younger generation, regardless
I suppose the other part
of your position in the game.
You are representing Bayern at that point.
That's the point.
So maybe to that point, I understand. My thing that I don't like with Poppy is that this becomes a talking point when it's because he's had a bad game.
I think he had it out during the game too.
But Troy, you know it yourself though, right? So if you're a manager, you've got a maverick player, this and that. Yeah. What would you as a manager say to him like that in a big game to get to the final of a Champions League?
It depends on what he's done for the last 6 months. If that's been his thing for the last 6 months, he's been performing. How could I turn around now today and go, hey,
okay,
don't do it this week because you did it last week?
Okay, but you're a manager. You have more life experience, and you're the one. You know already. You've been there. You've been through it.
Also,
normally
make
we
it a
see them
thing.
all wear uniform, don't we? It's unusual that they all get to wear their own individual flag, go into a Champions League night, because we normally see them in whatever
suited and booted or a very
for.
But also on the other side, sorry, Poppy, to interrupt, just to get that last point across, it is a case of he's a maverick player. So do you? You've played in teams, I've played in teams where you have to make special allowances for special players. And you have to go to them, hey, you better turn up today because we're doing the running for you or we're allowing this. Doesn't really matter. But when they don't, they have to understand, those players, that this scrutiny comes now tenfold because you are the best player. You are the person we expect to win. Again, if he doesn't like the pressure of this, it's a World Cup coming up. Put that level of performance in when you play for France. You're asked to be sat on the bench. It's that simple. So if you don't like the scrutiny now, you're not going to be prepared for that.
Fashion and football, don't we? And a lot of players wearing different things all the time. Just very quickly, by the way, before we go to break, what about the front three? Has it become more clear what the favoured front three would be, obviously, between these two teams? Because before we were talking about, oh, should Olise be in if it was PSG? And now, can you judge so much Troy over one game?
I can, because my front three won, so...
Me too! There you go. No, you two lost.
Yeah,
I
think we all agree, you're splitting hairs, right?
Very
between
tight.
The quality of it. I think we all agree that the Harry Kane is the standout winner between the number 9s, because Dembele isn't a natural number 9. But again, when you look on the left, it's what do you like? I prefer Kvaratskhelia as opposed to Diaz. That's just my take. And on the right-hand side, some people will like Doué, but most people like Olise. So it's whatever you want. But I just think PSG's works perfectly, and it doesn't matter whether it's a game like the one last week where we're all going for it because they all get to enjoy it, or it's a game like this because they'll all dig in for you as well. So for me, it just made PSG just be a little bit better.
So true. They were so well balanced, weren't they, tonight? And now they are through to the Champions League final. That is it now until that big game coming up. We've got loads more to come as well on the Champions Club. We're going to talk more about the coaches. Vincent Kompany has won the Bundesliga title, but it is Luis Enrique that has the chance to make a bit of history with the French giants. PSG will be back in just a sec.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days, with the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And we live the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gotta blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Champions Club. So Luis Enrique won the Champions League back at the Allianz Arena tonight. He's through to the Champions League final after knocking out Bayern Munich. Here he is speaking after the match.
Luis Enrique, congrats on reaching the final again. Munich seems to be a nice city, a nice stadium for you, right?
Yeah, Munich and also Berlin. Yes, good memories, and I think we could leave a match with a lot of intensity, and today I think the defense were better than the attack, but the character that we show against a real team like Bayern Munich, I think it's so positive, and we are very happy to reach the second final in Champions League in a row.
How much fun does it make to play against Bayern Munich and to coach against Vincent Kompany?
Well, it was very intense, very difficult. They played football at the highest level. I think we are both teams similar. We love to have with the ball, we love to defend and to pressing on high, and I think we could watch a really match and a nice match, and we are very happy. Very difficult to play against them.
And again, too close to your birthday, there's going to be a final or reaching the final. What do you assess Arsenal now?
Okay, in 2 days I'm going to celebrate my happy birthday, and I'm very happy. We are in the next phase of the competition, final of the Champions League, and we want to give our supporters that kind of gift.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is the comparison now between the two Champions League final managers. 3 seasons Luis Enrique spent at the club, won 11 trophies along the way, already a Champions League, and obviously so much domestic success as well. On the other hand, Mikel Arteta, 7 seasons at the club, 2 Community Shields and 1 FA Cup. How much pressure do you think is on Mikel to win this final? Troy, do you think, given obviously everything that he's put into Arsenal and them always getting one step closer, or is the pressure not on them because they're not the favourites in this game?
I totally agree with what Grella said yesterday. They're underdogs, and again, just from a managerial point of view, just looking at the raw numbers that we've got there, Arteta is the underprepared. That's the wrong word. Is the least experience in this situation of handling those moments. Even the preparation that week building up to the Champions League final. Luis Enrique knows what to do, how to get his players ready to do that, because he's been there three times already. So when you look at it like that, managerial-wise, Arsenal are the underdogs, and they'll play into it. Player for player, I think we would say PSG got a better squad. I would argue. Would you maybe differ? Maybe the 2 centre-backs for Arsenal and the goalkeeper are the ones that would, if you was to do a 11v11, that you'd change them over. Everything else, I think it'd be very difficult to move PSG, even with Declan Rice, again, somebody who we all admire and appreciate. I think he'd struggle to get into that midfield because PSG's midfield is so good. So when you look at the whole collective, yes, it's the odds are stacked against Arsenal, but purely on the football pitch for one match, I think it's the perfect game for Arsenal. They get to sit in, struggle without the ball, and then as soon as they can, break, as we alluded to yesterday. I think it's a perfect game of football because it's two completely contrasting styles, two managers that handle things differently. And I just think we're in for an absolute classic. I really do.
There was a lot of talk yesterday, though, Grell, about who Arsenal would rather face, if they'd rather face PSG or if it would rather be Bayern Munich. And then obviously Bukayo Saka made a comment. No one was really sure which way
he wanted Bayern
to take it. He wanted Bayern, you think?
Yeah, but Kimmich's comments afterwards, wasn't it, that they're just a set-piece team. So it's kind of, OK, let's get you again and show you. But they don't
that's the thought that I had as well. I thought it was Bayern. I just thought from the Kimmich comment, like you said, that he wanted Bayern. I mean, obviously, PSG knocked them out last year's campaign as well. So do you want to face them again? It'll be interesting. Yeah. I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to face PSG just because
you think, especially after tonight, they're thinking, oh.
I just think PSG, for me, like I said it before and I said it last year, that they're the best team in world football. You know, and Grell argued with me with Bayern Munich, which is a great argument. And I could agree with them being very competitive, but I still stick to saying, for me, the best team in world football is PSG. When you see them, the substitutions they make, the players that come out, the players that come in, the level does not drop. And they are very well coached. And like Troy said, going into this final now, yes, Arsenal definitely going as underdogs because PSG are the defending champions. They've been there, they've done it before. Luis Enrique has the experience as a manager in this competition with winning it and winning it with Barcelona as well, where he knows and he will make tweaks watching how Arsenal play and how they can be vulnerable at times. And I think that, for me, it's going to be a great game to watch.
I think PSG have all the tools in their toolbox. We've seen it over just the last two legs, but if you look across the Champions League, they've done it. If you press them, they're very good behind. That's how they scored a lot of the goals against Bayern Munich. If you sit in, that's what they see every weekend in their domestic league. So they know how to break you down in those little tight spots. Doué is impossible to stop. Barcola, Dembele, those guys are impossible to stop. Kvaratskhelia in tight spaces, probably one of the best dribblers in the world. If they're leading, can they play in a low block? Yeah, we just saw that now in the second half of the game. If they need to go for a game, can they do? Yeah, so they can do it all. Where Arsenal, I think, have their limitations in what they can do and what they can bring to the game. The game would have to be perfectly fall into Arsenal's hands. Like they would have to play in a low block, hit in transition, maybe get a set piece, and then try to hold on and survive, maybe hit on the counter again, where PSG has more tools in the toolbox over the course of 90 minutes. But does it make it more simple for Mikel to know this is exactly what we're going to do regardless? No, it's difficult for him.
There's also one more bit as well. PSG can just relax now. Their domestic league
is taken care of. Yeah.
They can now just start prepping people.
Help? That always helps.
Absolutely. Again, you could maybe make the same argument with Bayern Munich, right? Their league's done, and then there's no competitive matches. But when you know you've got the final, you've got Hakimi who's trying to get back fit. Arsenal are still trying to win the Premier League, so they have to play their best players and their strongest team. But PSG can go, OK, no problem, we'll give you a few minutes this game. You're struggling, they come down here. They could just take their time. And if they actually wanted to, they could use the next 3 matches as their opportunity to just be in a situation of, let's try some stuff. Let's see how we do it. Let's change something different for set pieces, let's say. I
mean, Liga could help them out and just cancel their games, you know. Yeah, Liga helped them out with some games.
So it does lend itself to making PSG the favourites for those reasons. But on the flip side to it, Arsenal have the opportunity to make history, to be the first team that actually have won the Champions League for Arsenal in their whole history. So, you know, for all of the things we say about Arsenal, when you've got that extra burning desire as a player, you can make history for not only yourself but for your club. Those players are going to play 110%, so it makes for an unbelievable game.
So true. OK, so Arsenal, they've got the 2 big trophies still to contend for, but the Champions League final is the one that has eluded them so far. Stay with us, everybody. The boys have got the whiteboard and the tactics board coming your way next.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon? When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready? Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man.
The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here. Now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money.
What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
And welcome back to the Champions Club. And here we see right in front of us now the heat map of Vitinha and João Neves. You talk about two of the top talented midfielders in world football who can do it all. Vitinha can control the flow of the game, can drop into that defensive role, and then you can see there he's more central because he was vital today for Paris Saint-Germain in their approach of dropping into that centre-back role there. João Neves was the one who put out the fire. He was the pit bull, he was the terror. He was going everywhere around that pitch there to fill in the gaps, to help out, and that is what you call a well-balanced pair of a midfield. As we go back to the tactics board, Grella, and back to being in the dressing room and listening to managers and coaches, watching those two midfielders play is fascinating to play. You know, you talk about rotation. Rotation is a word that's used, but to get players to understand how it works, that's footballers of the highest level. Now, I don't want to overcomplicate with the views, but I'll just do a very simple one there. This was what was happening in the game today. You talk about rotation, I'll just do a simple arrow here, an arrow here, and then an arrow here, which would explain the situation. This was happening in the game. You've got CHAAAMPIONSSS playing at right back. At times, he would go up into this spot here. Then Marquinhos would come out there. Then obviously you'd have the other centre-back would come across there. But what would happen is, at times, you'd have João Neves would also drop into this situation. So it's a bit of a triangle, but it's a rotation in how it works. Where, yes, CHAAAMPIONSSS will come out here, he'll come up here, Marquinhos will go out here, and then what will happen is João Neves will come into there, and he would fill in as another centre-back. And it's rotation from players at the highest level to see and understand when they need to fill in gaps and spots for one another. And what happened in the game, which we said most of the time, you talk about Luis Diaz being one of the top players out there, because Marquinhos would go out there, he would instantly engage with Luis Diaz because he's out there. So I would be up here, and then you'd have Vitinha come into that hole there to fill in the gaps for the centre-back that's out of position?
Yeah, let me borrow that marker for a second.
I'll put my shirt.
I'm going to just build on Nigel's point here about rotation. If you see when he starts the play, it's 4-3-3, and then when you see when he ends the play after all the arrows, it's still 4-3-3. The reason why it's important is because the rotations are happening, but they have pretty much the same shape. And what that does is it makes it difficult for Bayern Munich, for the players, to lock into guys because you can't chase. Let's say if Vitinha was dropping in here, right, and Emery was coming in there. They were so locked in guys, they can't chase him into there. But they were so reluctant to pass guys on as well. So that the rotation really put Bayern in a spin. And I just want to show you two things here. PSG, when they didn't have the when in the first leg, they went and pressed this football like this, right, up the pitch. They went and pressed this football, and the back line was here, right? And so when we saw 5-4, this is why we saw 5-4, because this space here in the opponent's half, and you're able to play a little combination and get guys running. But when they were winning the game, and they scored early on in this one, and we're going to talk about that in a second, when they were winning the game, this is what we saw. And note, please, I hope you're watching, the managers that don't want to switch because they're stubborn. When it comes time to get to a Champions League final, this is what we saw. We saw this. We saw this from PSG. This is a PSG that would scored 5 goals in the first leg. This is the PSG that have the best front three in football. This is a PSG that love attacking. We know them through that ability. And the likes of Kvaratskhelia, Due were asked to do this sort of a role and responsibility playing in this shell. And a lot of tackles that were celebrating. And even at times when Bayern Munich got into these spots here, they would come down and help.
Double up.
They would come up down and help. And it would even at times look like this. It would look like that. It would look like 5-4-1, this compact. And you could imagine, as much as we're on top of Bayern Munich because we didn't get the performance we expected from them, you have to be so perfect to break this down. Because they've got so many guys across, they can shift, they can be happy with it at all times. And now, when PSG had the football, right, like this, I just want to show you how the goal came about and the problems that it started for Bayern. When Bayern went to go press the football, right, and this is Kompany saying, oh, we want to see chaos, right? We're going to be ready for the chaos. And we'll focus mainly on the back four of Bayern here, right? And so these guys are irrelevant. Let's just focus on the back four. Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Due, right? And the midfield coming down to get the football. So what happened was when Bayern pressed the football, right, they're locking in on guys. And what happens is when Dembele is here, he's not a true striker, right? We know that he can play on the wings and he loves to come in here. So when he comes in here, the two center backs have nothing to do. And they were instructed to go and follow him in there. So Upamecano would follow him wherever he would go, sometimes this deep, right? And even if he was here, he would come and follow him. Now what happens is, and we're just going to add the two center midfielders of Bayern Munich who had to stay tight to these guys, right? They're tight here because they're pressing the football. What happens is this gap has to be accounted for. And when you leave Kvaratskhelia 1v1 with Leimer or Stanisic, which was in the first leg, he's in danger here against one of the best wingers in the game. And if you see in the first leg, we say Nigel says he's got to time this run better, right? He tries to get close, and boom, he beats him behind. If he's too far, then he collects the football and he runs at him full speed with nobody behind. In this situation, if you don't go man-to-man, what usually happens is this striker comes down into here and you pass him on to the center midfielder. So the midfielder can pick him up.
Drop off in there.
But the problem is they wanted to play and press the football and go for it. So what happens is, as this center back vacates this spot, and now you've got this 1v1 situation, there is no center midfielder to go and help him. And there's this other center back is too far away to help him. And he is on an island alone, and that's what happened a lot for PSG. It happened on the goal today that they scored. It happened 3 or 4 times in the first leg.
Well, that was Grelevision, sponsored by CBS. Back to you, Poppy Miller.
Boys, lovely job. Thanks so much. Stay with us, everyone. We're going to take you over to the Allianz Arena in Germany after this short break. Peter Schmeichel and Anita Jones were at the match tonight. We're going to talk to them in just a second.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon? When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready? Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
Welcome back, everybody. So Arsenal advanced yesterday, and the defending champions PSG, they are through today after eliminating Bayern Munich. So the Champions League final in Budapest is set for May 30th. Let's take you over to the Allianz Arena. Peter Schmeichel and Anita Jones are here with us. Good to see you both. Wow, what's been the reaction over there in Germany to PSG advancing tonight, guys?
Deserved, isn't it? It was really... That game today was it was so good. The way they came here. Obviously, they won 5-0 last season. They're finally here, so they had some good memories from this stadium. But the way they came into this very, very loud crowd against the Bayern team, who's been performing so well, and literally just worked them off the park. It was a different PSG performance than that we've sort of been watching over the course of especially the second half of this Champions League season. But I mean, tactically they nailed it, and at no point did we feel that Bayern was in that game.
No, it's unfortunate. You speak about them having a good feeling. We spoke to William Pacho afterwards. He said that there definitely was a good feeling amongst the team, having, of course, lifted the trophy here, just over a year ago. And in terms of the Bayern perspective, we spoke to Vincent Kompany just a little while ago, and he gave credit where credit was due, but obviously that first half was marked by some contentious decisions that will probably be spoken about long after today.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what we got last Tuesday was a fantastic game, and it's a game that will live on for a very, very long time. And today, even though the scoreline was less 1-1, it was still a really, really good game to watch. But both games, in my opinion, has been marred by a couple of really, really bad refereeing decisions. And the referee today, I can say this because I'm not a player and I can't get suspended. He was terrible. I mean, terrible. Right from the first minute, he was trying to establish himself as the main character in this game. And you could see PSG players, Bayern players, very, very frustrated all the time with his decisions, and also lack of decisions. And, you know, I understand that Vincent Kompany, or Vincent Kompany, I've just asked him how to pronounce his name. So it's Vincent Kompany. I can understand that he's a little bit angry with that. But in all fairness, PSG were the better team, and Bayern just didn't find any foothold in this game today.
Guys, just speaking about PSG, obviously, like you said, I agree with you guys that they were the better team and they deserved it and got it tactically right. How are they feeling now looking ahead to the final, facing an Arsenal side?
Well, they've beaten every Premier League side that they've faced on the road to the final to Budapest, so that really has them in good stead. I know it didn't go their way when they met Arsenal last season, but both different sides, and you know, I'm just hoping that the Arsenal defenders and David Raya were watching that game very closely. Gabriel, Saliba, Calafiori and Ben White, if he's in that fullback position, because they are going to have their work cut out.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence that you sense coming out of PSG as a football club. We had Nasser, the president, we had him live to the CBS studio, and in the middle of that we threw in Luis Enrique, and it was kind of it was an interesting moment because it gave you an idea about how close they work together and how happy they are at the club. And they made some really big decisions about 2 years ago about not going out there and getting the big names, but recruiting from within and recruiting really good players that maybe not have the big names yet, but they produce them into big players. And I mean, the confidence in that squad is incredible. And having sat in the stadium today and actually seen the work rate, so I followed PSG. Obviously, the first time we had a Champions League final at CBS and Paramount was in that end game in Portugal during COVID, and that's when they had all the big stars. And what we always criticized them about was it was a team that seven players defended and 3 were just waiting to get the ball, and then here you are, go and do something with it. Now it's different. You see Kvaratskhelia, you see Dembélé, you see Douy, and you see all these players that are in those positions, how hard they work, how much pressure they put on every player, and it's just amazing to see and it's great work by Luis Enrique, by the way. What a coach he has turned out to be.
Peter, can I just ask you a question? Obviously, both teams are in the final now. I want to take you back, because you're the only one who's been at this level. If you're Arsenal, she'll take you back to the first time of getting to a Champions League final. How do they prepare for that? How do they calm the nerves? And then when you've got to multiple, how do you then adjust to that week if you are PSG? How do you try and restoke the fire and not be too relaxed?
Well, one thing for sure, and I keep saying this, experience counts for something, and we saw that today. They were here a little over a year ago, and they won final in the final. So these experiences count for something. You go into a stadium that you've never really played well in or you lost in, you take that in as well. So that obviously, having been in that final, counts for something. And of course, they know what's going to happen in that week running up to the final. Whereas Arsenal, they still got some really tough work to be done in the Premier League. Of course, they got a little bit of a break when Manchester City only drew against Everton on Monday night, and actually put it back in Arsenal's hands. So win the rest of their games, and they will win the Premier League. Again, is it 20 years? It's a long time anyway. But all of that, it's got to go on in between now and that final. And if there is a little slip up, the inexperience of not having been in a situation where you're actually taking it over the line can cost very dearly. PSG, multiple winners of Liga, and of course, defending champions in the Champions League. But I'm asking you, how do you think Arsenal players will react from now on and to the end of the season?
Every game is a final, isn't it? Starting with West Ham at the weekend, they've got to put them to bed and maybe, sadly, put West Ham fans in deeper sorrow, But yeah, like I said, I just hope the defence, David Raya, were watching very closely.
Question for both of you guys quickly. Bayern Munich, I think the performance left us wanting more at home in Germany. They couldn't score until the dying moments, and the goal was just consolation. Characteristic performance for them, or an uncharacteristic performance for them in a Champions League night?
Yeah. That's definitely an uncharacteristic performance by them today. And it kind of started early on. I don't know if you remember the beginning of the game. Olise got the ball and he lost it straight away. And then he got the ball again within a couple of seconds, and he slipped and lost the ball again. And he kind of never really recovered from that. Harry Kane went a little deep, got the ball, got tackled, and then as Harry Kane is doing, he seeks all those spaces, all those pockets where he can get the ball, but it was closed down all the time, and kind of like PSG right from the first moment sucked the confidence out of Bayern Munich. And confidence, it's what we've seen with Bayern Munich all the way throughout this season. So that, I'll say, for me, very uncharacteristically.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
But don't you think we've seen now Bayern in the last few years characteristically drop out of the Champions League in the biggest of moments?
Yeah, but they've progressed. I mean, they are further in the tournament this season than last season. And you got to give Kompany credit for having improved his side and using his way of playing. It takes time to get to that level. It's taken time for PSG as well. But I think, you know, we can argue this, but I think that Bayern Munich today is still the second best team in Europe, and PSG by far is the best team. So, and it's also something to take, you know, if you have to leave a tournament like they've done today, well, they've left a tournament and got beaten by a much better team. That is some consolation, and you know, you can take that on and get some confidence for next season.
Yeah, it's so true. We'll see what happens in the final. Thanks so much, both of you. We'll chat to you soon in Budapest.
See you in Budapest.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
See you.
Bye-bye.
Anita. I give Anita a stick, but congratulations. She
Yeah,
deserves it.
of course.
She
Put
deserves
that
it.
through now. Oh, nice to. Well done, Troy. Being nice, owning it.
Yeah, I'll get my own back.
Have you said that to your son as well, and all your Arsenal fans at home in your own family?
Nah,
No?
and that's not going to happen. Can't show weakness at home.
Oh, okay.
It sets a dangerous precedent.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about Bayern Munich, by the way, Grella, the question that you asked to Peter there, do you think it's really put a dampener on things?
For me, it was a little bit of a trick question to get them to say, well, it was characteristic, because this is what we've seen, though, right, from Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich have to win the Bundesliga, but in the Champions League, they want to win. They want to be the best team in the world. They probably are one of the best teams in the world, but on a big night, they didn't show up and they didn't perform. And this happened last year against Inter as well, and it happened the year before that as well. So now the questions about Kompany, the questions about Harry Kane in big games, the question about Bayern Munich and the big nights in Champions League, I don't know. Did they answer any of those questions over this leg? I think, for me, you can lose to PSG, just the performance. I think leaves me a little bit like, okay, on a big night, they don't show up yet again, you know.
I think as well the experiences. They're getting further year on year. So if you look at the progression, they should win it next year, or they should at least get to the final with the way that it's going. But again, Vincent Kompany as a player has been in these moments and has done well. As a manager, it's a whole new thing, trying to get into every single person and go, hey, calm down, just play your normal game. It's so difficult. So he has to learn, and he's only going to learn that by, you know, more experiences, as I alluded to earlier. But you mentioned Inter there. For example, last season they were fantastic to a point. This season they've been awful. Is that Inter were awful, or was that Kiev was inexperienced? He needs more time in those Champions League experiences to get better in those moments. For sure.
It was so interesting as well, obviously, what Peter said about the referee and how everybody is upset with the decisions. Later on, we're going to have Christina Unkel joining us to talk about some of this, Nige. But do you think that it can be pinned on the referee tonight, Bayern's loss? Obviously, yes, the fans will be upset with some of the decisions that didn't go their way. But would it have changed the outcome of the game for you?
Goals change games. I think for me that the referee did have a poor game, yes. But Bayern as a team did not turn up. I can't sit here to say Bayern Munich turned up, because for me, everything else that we saw tactically, PSG were the better side. And Peter said it exactly what we spoke about earlier, about how when you watch the start of that game, Bayern did not start well. From then, it just became a snowball effect of bad passes, bad 100%. Touches, everyone slipping. So, yes, the referee made some decisions that were questionable, but overall, this is Bayern Munich not turning up, and they did not deserve to win today. They just didn't look like they were going to win or even score a goal. But
as much as you want to give credit to PSG, and we have to, and they're great, no negative to them. Bayern were not sharp today. And on a Champions League semi-final at home, you have to be way sharper and start the game. Nigel hit it on the head. They didn't start the game well. They didn't look like they had energy. A lot of giving away balls, easy. Also, you have 90 minutes. You're down by 1 goal. You have 90 minutes to get the game back. They wanted it back in the first minute. Boom, boom, boom. They want to come down 90 minutes. That's where the experience comes into play for me. And for me, the referee's a cop-out. I don't think the referee was good, but you didn't lose the game. Bayern's not in the final because the referee.
But devil's advocate of that, we've all played in games where we've been sloppy, but a referee decision, a penalty, a sending off gives you that life, gives you that, oh, okay, here we go, because you maybe score from a free kick or you score from a penalty, and it gives you that life and that energy, and then the whole nature of the game, the whole nature of the whole atmosphere changes. So I agree with you. They didn't lose it because of the referee, but he certainly didn't help to have the level of performance that referee put in.
Well, I know the only thing is, though, you talk about the sending-off. That one would have never been a sending-off.
No, I'm just saying in general.
The only thing is, probably the handball situation is where people kind of be frustrated about. But then overall, when you look at it again, what goalkeeper got called into action more to make more real critical saves?
I agree.
Neuer.
I agree.
Neuer's the one.
I think it's just the amount of decisions, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just one that didn't go their way. It was a couple of ones where you could have seen it given. You could also.
Well, when you talk about the penalties that we've discussed over the last 5 or 6 weeks of Champions League, you have to say that we can't make an argument as to why that wasn't given. Do you know what I mean? It's hard.
The one that gets kicked off of Neves'
it's hard. Based off what we saw in the first leg, so difficult. We're
going to talk about that, right?
We're going to talk about it, but it's actually, but it's in the actual rules of why it can't be given. It's in the rules. It's in the football rules.
What rules? The rules don't exist.
I found.
Every day.
Anyway,
Let's
in
get
there.
the rules expert on the line, shall we? Christina Uncle.
Is she on the yacht?
I don't know.
She's having caviar and champagne.
We're going to see where she is on this yacht after the break, and we're also going to bring you all of the highlights as well from Germany, from the Allianz Arena. It was PSG that scored first. Bayern Munich through Harry Kane leveled things late in the game, but it wasn't enough. The Parisians advance on aggregate. We'll be back in just a sec.
As a midfielder, I'm like a metronome. When I think